Good morning, YouTube family. What a joy it is to be back with you guys today. I have quite a bit of news and information to give you today. I had a special guest lined up for us, but family matters or an emergency came in, and I was going to have TSU's Defensive Player of the Year last year in the basketball, Carl Nichols. He was going to be our guest, but he's promised me we'll make it another date when they come back home from their basketball trip this upcoming week. So now you guys are stuck with me. Don't worry about it though. I'm going to entertain you and give you some good information, and you're going to be still happy that you tuned in. But before we get going, I want to let you guys know that I need for you down below to hit the like button, the subscribe button, smash that bell so that you can be notified, and share it with some friends. Also, I want to give out a shout to the Nichols family in Memphis, Tennessee. What a terrible, terrible thing to have happen to one of your family members. 5 of Memphis' supposedly finest police officers brutalized a young black man until he died. It was just horrendous. I did not even look at the tape because I can just tell. If somebody was already dead, I didn't need to look at the tape. I know he took a hell of a beating. And I want to send our love and prayers out to the Nichols family for their loss with their son. And I'm hoping that that justice is brought to these thugs, because that's basically what they are, 5 thugs with badges. It used to be we had to worry about thugs and badges being of another race. But as I've listened to all of the shows and news shows that have been going on since his death, podcasts, one thing that they all saying is that a police officer only knows one color, and that's blue. They're going to stick together, and they're going to do what they want to do under the disguise of a police officer. Not going to spend a lot of time. This is a sports show, but I also am a human being, and I just did not like what went down with Tyre Nichols. And so one other thing on that is that supposedly there are 3 other officers that are going to be involved. A white officer that tased him. As my friend said, he tased him, got his little lick in and left. So they didn't see him through the whole duration of the picture. Then you got 3 EMS people that show up and just stand around while the guy is suffering, dying practically in front of their presence, not doing a thing. I'd like to see some type of criminal charges brought against them. Losing their job is not enough. So once again, family, I want to let you know that we are sending our condolences. And if you want to write a comment down below on the page to the family, be my guest. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Womack Development Company and Realtor, and Morgan and Associates Dental. So without further ado, one last thing before I go into the program. As you can see, I have one of our t-shirts on, Sports Talk with Fat Larry. Please, it makes me feel so good. I was out at a basketball game, and one of my listeners had on a Sports Talk with Fat Larry shirt, just like this. Also, one had on a Sports Talk with Fat Larry hoodie. Please email me your order for a t-shirt or a hoodie at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. One more time. Email me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com to order you a hoodie. We have blue, we have white, we have gray, we have maroon, and we have black. Hit me up. Leave your information, your size, your telephone number, and we will contact you to get it all set up for you with pricing and how to deliver it to you. One more time, hit me up for merchandise purchase at my email, fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Okay, without further ado, we're going to go into the show today. First of all, I want to talk about what's going on in the SWAC, because you know that's what we do. We cover the HBCUs, CIAA, SIAC, the MEAC, and the SWAC. So currently what we're going to do is talk about the SWAC. And right now, the SWAC standings are as follows for basketball. First of all, let me give you the scores from last week. Last Saturday on the 28th, Jackson State beat Grambling State 78-66. Alabama A&M beat FAMU 61-56. UAPB beat Mississippi Valley State 88-72. Prairie View beat TSU. What a heartbreaker. We had a lead. Prairie View had a lead. Seemed like for a moment no one wanted to win the game. We went into double overtime, and Prairie View came out on top, 89-74. Alcorn loses to Southern, 80-68. So Southern at this moment is leading the SWAC. But before I go there, let me go ahead and give you Monday's score. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. It's been a minute, family. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. Bethune-Cookman beats Alabama A&M. This is Monday's scores. Alcorn beats Grambling. FAMU beats Alabama State. And Southern beats Jackson State. On the women's side for Saturday, it was Bethune-Cookman beats Alabama A&M. Alcorn beats Grambling. Alabama State beats FAMU. And JSU beats Southern. So, one more time, the standings for the men's basketball is Jackson State is 5-4 in the East. Bethune-Cookman is 4-5. Alabama A&M and Alabama State both are 4-5. FAMU is 2-7. And Mississippi Valley is 1-8. As I stated at the beginning of the season, after I saw these teams, certain teams play, I felt like the SWAC can go either direction. Even though Southern is leading the conference at 8-1 and Alcorn is 7-2, yes, they would probably have to be your choices to win the tournament and the conference. But trust me, I've seen these games. There's been so many games that have been won by 2 points or 3 or lost by 1 point or 3. Also in the West, you got Southern 8-1, Alcorn 7-2, UAPB 6-3. Good year for UAPB. Grambling State is 6-3. Prairie View is 4-5. And TSU is pulling up the rear 3-6. Seems odd for me to say that, but hey, as I said, we had a lot of injuries. When I say we, TSU, that's my alma mater, and quite naturally, I'm going to sing that song. I felt like if we could have beat Prairie View and win these next 2 games, we're right in the thick. But all I want for TSU to do is just make the tournament. The top 8 teams make the tournament. And I feel like once TSU gets into the tournament, anything can happen. Last year, Alcorn was undefeated in the conference, but got to the SWAC tournament and TSU blew them out. The year prior to that, Jackson State was undefeated, got to the tournament, TSU did, and blew them out. So I figure like there are at least 5 schools that could possibly win this year's tournament. So if you're in the vicinity of Birmingham doing SWAC tournament, I look for it to be nothing but surprises. And also the first game, I think, is played at the team's home court. So that should be a good game. But anyway, one more time, Southern is leading at 8-1, Alcorn 7-2, and UAPB and Grambling at 6-3. Okay, now on the women's side, you got JSU is 8-1, Alabama State 6-3, Alabama A&M 6-3, Bethune-Cookman 6-3, FAMU 2-7, and Mississippi Valley is 0-9. In the West, you got Southern 6-3, Prairie View is 6-3, UAPB is 5-4, Alcorn is 4-5, along with Grambling State, and TSU is 1-8. Now, in the women's side, I think that Jackson State is the favorite, but there are a couple of teams out there that I think could beat Jackson State. One already has beat Jackson State. So Prairie View. So I think that Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Prairie View, and Southern, they all have a chance. But I would have to say that Jackson State should be the prohibitive favorite on the women's side to make the tournament. Okay, games this week. Very critical. Very critical, these games this week, family. I am going to, as our sports voice of the Tigers, Larry Chatterbox Hale always said, put your hand on the radio. I'm going to have my hand on the radio this weekend, hoping that the Tigers can win Saturday and Monday, and we're back in the mix. Games this week. Grambling State is at Alabama State. UAPB is at Alcorn. Southern is at Alabama A&M. FAMU is at TSU. That's the game I'm hoping that we can pull out. And Bethune-Cookman is at PV. And Mississippi Valley versus Jackson State. Flip it on Monday, and TSU is going to play Bethune-Cookman, the other Florida school. So we got both the Florida schools coming in to do the Texas two-step, PV and TSU. Generally, when you come into Texas, back in the day, you left with 1 or 2 losses. So we got Grambling State at Alabama A&M, FAMU at PV, UAPB at Jackson State, Southern at Alabama State, and Mississippi Valley at Alcorn. And quite naturally, the women will precede the men's game. So the schedule I gave you, the women played before. So you have that. Now, what I want to talk about now is another national type news thing. Getting on HBC game day today on my computer, there was some news about a quarterback that had signed to go to Florida University, a D1 school. But he got dismissed from the University of Florida. This is a white quarterback, 4-star, supposedly, that I don't know when these people are going to understand you can't put videos online because everyone sees them. But anyway, he got online with a rapping video talking about nigger. Sometimes, depending on who your friends are, they may allow you to say that in front of them. But to the general public, being a Caucasian, you can't do that. You can't, that just like being a black male, you can't get on calling with a video, calling your white teammates or a white player or just someone a cracker. You can't do that. And so what happened is that he got dismissed from the University of Florida, but Albany State picked him up. 4-star quarterback going to a D2 school, I don't blame him. But they got pushback from the university and other black alums saying that they did not want that kid on campus or on that team with his background of knowing what he said. So I don't know what's going to happen for this kid, but you can see how just getting on that video, family, throwing out TikToks or whatever it's called and videos, think about what you're doing first. So this kid lost a D1 scholarship and was getting one to Albany State. Now, don't get it twisted. If he's good, he's going to find a place to play. They're going to find a place to play for him. But just look what he's got to go through. And so one more time, his name is Marcus Stokes. He was a quarterback in Florida, high school, and had gotten a scholarship to the University of Florida. Albany State picked him up, but they had to let him go after the pushback they got from the university and alums. Okay, let's see what we can talk about now. Let's talk about Ed Reed at Bethune-Cookman. Now, this family, I really want your opinion down below. Down below, family, can you see me? Down below. I want your opinion on Ed Reed. Do you think what he did was so bad that he got fired before he got started? Let me give you some information in regards to what happened with Ed Reed. Ed Reed became the head coach at Bethune-Cookman University, a black university in Daytona Beach, Florida. He went in before he basically was technically signed to be the coach. They had agreed verbally, okay, I'll come to Bethune-Cookman and coach. So he was getting a head start coming to the campus, talking to the players, letting them know there's going to be a change. He brought in 30 recruits. The people there were excited. And so what he did then is he just happened to be strolling on campus and seeing what the situation was. Initially, I thought he may have spoke out of line by getting on Bethune-Cookman about his office wasn't clean when he got there. And I got to thinking about it. He's really right. They had 3 weeks. Actually, they've had longer than that. The coach that was there prior has been gone. He got fired right after the last game in football season, which is in November. Heck, it's January, and you still haven't cleaned up the office. So, with that being said, he went on a rant. He had gotten his players, fraternities, sororities to help him and his players go out and pick up trash on the university. The football players testified to a person that was on a podcast that I looked at that Coach Reed was not lying. They got mold and mildew in the rooms, not just the athletic rooms, but in the kids' campus rooms. And this is why this past week, if you've been watching the news, Bethune-Cookman kids have been pushing back on the university to make changes. And it looks like they've gotten their attention because now the president, after the student body went on Roland Martin, another podcast that I look at, and I don't mind telling people I look at other folks' podcasts because I get information and I get how to produce my podcast and things I might want to do. Roland Martin is a homeboy from Houston, Texas. Has his own unfiltered show, and he's going to give it to you straight, which is what I try to do. And he had the kids on, the SGA, Student Government Association, on, saying that, look, we haven't seen the president since August. We've tried to talk to him to let him know about our grievances that, look, y'all had to get some of this stuff, because we can't even go take a shower because of the mold. Just think about that. And then they found out there's $63 million that was given to the university to help make some changes that haven't. But wait, here's the kicker, family. Once they start raising hell through Roland Martin and other media and news venues, the president and athletic director comes in and goes and gets some ex-players and gets the players in and start talking about, hey, we were just in the process of trying to get the football field straight. We're going to get you some lockers. We're in the process of spending $3 million. They put a price on it. They want the players to know exactly $3 million is going to go in to make changes. See, and as one of the viewers of that podcast said, so now you all want to come to the players and to the student body and the government association, let them know, oh yeah, we were coming to you to let you know that we're going to make these changes. That should have been done already. That money was given to them years ago, a couple of years ago. Why haven't they made the changes? Why haven't they improved? Because they had players that came on a couple of years ago from Bethune-Cookman saying they had the same problem then. It hadn't been changed. Now, they came in with some players from the past to try to keep the players, and I understand your love and your pride from the university, but those kids aren't lying. Those kids aren't lying. And so Ed Reed, I think, would have been good for Bethune-Cookman, but he just went on that rant. Now, that's my opinion. One more time, I want down below, I want to hear your opinion on what you think, how you think Ed Reed should have approached it. Because he was just upset to know that these kids have to go through this. Wearing the same helmet. One guy come out at practice, he lets another guy use his helmet. That shouldn't be. They don't have a field, and they got all type of acreage at Bethune-Cookman. All they got to do is just, as they said, just mow it, nurture it, and fix it, and you got a practice field on campus. But once again, once the kids came up with an uproar. They started saying that's what they're going to do. So I just wanted to bring up Bethune-Cookman. That is a big story. And I want to hear one more time, family, what your thoughts are on it. Okay, we're going to go local now. Texans announced, today is Wednesday, February the 1st. The Texans announced that DeMeco Ryans is the new head football coach. He was a defensive coordinator at San Francisco 49ers. He was drafted by the Texans and started as a rookie. He got to play with JJ 1 year, I think. And JJ actually promoted to the Texans with a text, email, or one of these social media things that they use. That DeMeco Ryans would be a great pick for them as head coach. And so DeMeco Ryans is now the head coach at the Houston Texans. And by the way, that is the Texans' 4th black head coach in a row. I don't think that's ever been done. The 4th head black coach hired in a row. Even though 2 of them didn't stay but a year, that became the defense coordinator for the Texans. And when Bill O'Brien left, he was the head coach. That was the first black coach. And then you got Gully came in for a year. And then you have Lovie Smith that just left. And now you're going to have DeMeco Ryans. For the Texans have hired 4 black coaches in succession. And I'm hoping that DeMeco can get it turned around. The Astros also have named a new general manager. And his name is Dana Brown. He was the Atlanta Braves executive scouting person. And so now the Astros have hired a black general manager. So H-Town is doing it. They hiring who they think is the best, not predicated on nothing but their past record. And that's what they're doing. University of Houston is the number 3 basketball team in the country. And yes, I report on University of Houston. I've always been a University of Houston fan. Since the 60s, late 60s, because they were one of the first schools in the South to go out and get black recruits in football, basketball, baseball, track, you name it. They were one of the first. So I always throw University of Houston in the mix. And I think that Kelvin Sampson is one of the best coaches in the United States. Top 3, if not the best. So they are 19-2 and number 3. You have Coach Prime at Colorado University. They thought it was just a black thing at Jackson State, but he's proven to them that he can go to a white university and do his thing and it take over real well, or it's accepted well. They have now surpassed their merchandise sales since Coach Prime has been on the job for 2 months. Let me say that again. He's been on the job for 2 months, and they have never sold as much merchandise as they're selling now with Coach Prime. They also have like one of the top classes in recruiting, which they haven't done in about 20 years at Colorado. So, one more time. If you guys have watched my show, you know where I stand with Coach Prime. You know, he got his haters. The coach at Nebraska just recently said that, no, he's not a news social media type person. He's not the type of coach to get on media and do this. And it was a knock at Dion. But you got to use what works for you. And I ain't mad at that coach at Nebraska. Rule is his name. He coached at Baylor. That's not his thing. That's fine. And just don't knock Dion. Because Dion stuff works. I was watching a clip where his team was practicing off-season, basically just lifting. And like he had music blasting and playing in Jackson State, he had it going on at Colorado, and you could see the white players and they're bouncing their head as they worked out. He's just trying to stay in touch with these kids. And evidently they love it. He's turned 3 4-stars and has 2 5-stars and continuously gets transfers. I don't think he's going to just win out the gate, but you're going to see a difference in the University of Colorado, trust me. So Coach Prime is doing his thing in Colorado. And I just want to throw out a little something. I'm going to start something that I think might be good. One more time, email me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com, not only just for your merchandise, but email me and let me know if you want to come on the show and co-host. I'm going to start letting one of my listeners come on and co-host and talk sports with me. Just like I started this show, it's all because of the love of sports. So there may be somebody watching this show that want to just come in and talk about something. Go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com and let me know you're interested. Give me your name and your number, and we'll work something out. Also, I was speaking about recruits earlier. What we're going to do is have Texas Southern University head recruiter on the show, the next show, and he's going to let us know what the status of how the recruitment is going for Texas Southern University. And NBA, you got, before I go to NBA, let's go to the football, NFL. Right now, you got for the Super Bowl, you got Kansas City and Philadelphia. Now, I basically had these two teams going. Look at my past shows, you'll see it. Only thing I had on there was I thought Cincinnati could beat Kansas City. I wasn't going to be surprised. And that's almost what happened. Cincinnati has a good team, a good quarterback, a good defense, good offense, and I think they're on the come up. So Cincinnati lost to Kansas City, and Philadelphia dropped the bomb on San Francisco. After San Francisco lost their quarterback, that was basically the name of the game was over. So I think it's going to be a good game. And my pick for Kansas City and Philadelphia Super Bowl, I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I love me some Mahomes, Pat Mahomes boy, as my guy on the sports show says, Pat Mahomes. But Philadelphia got a hell of a defense. They got a running attack, and Jalen Hurts has been spectacular. He's not hurting the team, and that's basically a lot of times what you want your quarterbacks to do. Just don't hurt us. No turnovers where you have a short field for them to score. And what Jalen Hurts has done is basically done that. So also, that's my pick, Philadelphia. Also in basketball, you have the Boston Celtics leading the East, and you have New Jersey Nets and Philadelphia. And the Milwaukee Bucks are the top four teams that I feel. I feel that it's going to come down between Boston and possibly Philadelphia with a close Milwaukee. I want to say the Nets, but I can't trust the Nets. Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and Kevin. I can't trust them. So I'm thinking it's going to be Boston for sure. And you got Philadelphia's been playing great. And you got Milwaukee always in the mix. But I'm going to still go with Boston coming out of the East. And the West, you're going to have Denver. You got Golden State is down below, but if they can find their way, they can be in the mix. But I actually have Denver, the Clippers, and possibly, I'm trying to think of this other team. Now, I'm a Laker fan, but I don't see it. Phoenix, if they can get themselves together, you're going to have Phoenix, Denver, and the Clippers out of those three. And I'm thinking it's going to be either Denver or the Clippers come out of the West. Mr. Womack is the broker and president and CEO of Womack Development Investment Realtors, a private minority-owned full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage firm. Over the years, he has been known to be a respected community businessman and partner and has received many awards. Now, he sells real estate everywhere, but this specialty is right here in 3rd Ward. This guy can get it taken care of for you. Okay, family, and staying on the topic of football, going back to the topic of football again, my oversight, I failed to tell you one big, gigantic piece of news. Tom Brady, who a lot of people consider the GOAT, has finally called it quits. So Tom Brady has retired from the Buccaneers and from football. Also, let me know what you think about the bad calls by the referees in the NBA and NFL. During the game of Kansas City and Cincinnati, they ran a 3rd down play and did not make the yardage Kansas City did. But the officials said they called time and gave them another chance, an opportunity to do a 3rd down play. And they got the yardage and wind up scoring to beat them. So that's one call. That's just one call. And then you got the NBA, and I'm not crying, so I don't want my friend to be calling me talking about you a Laker fan and he's a hater. So we're talking about LeBron didn't get fouled. Everybody saw the foul LeBron against the Boston Celtics where the guy didn't even come close to the ball. He hit him on his arm. The ball was on his hand. And he even laughed about it. Tatum did. Tayshaun Tatum, he laughed about it. Did he foul him or not? So, and that's not just the only call. It just seemed like the officials now, they just swallow their whistle. I don't know what a foul is. And then a guy will bump into a guy and they'll call a foul, but a guy will grab someone and slap him and they don't get called. So let me know what you think about the officiating in the NBA and the NFL. Then we got Sean Payton close to going to the Denver Broncos, is what I'm hearing. Sean Payton, the ex-coach at New Orleans Saints, is close to going there. Also, I want to announce that there is going to be a black baseball tournament in Atlanta, March the 24th through the 28th with the SWAC teams. The SWAC has come up with a deal with the city of Atlanta to put on, just like here in Houston, they put on a preseason baseball tournament with Baylor, U of H, University of Texas, Texas A&M, and Minute Maid at the professional stadium. And also, this year, they're going to have some black colleges come and do that at the Minute Maid. Now, I'm bringing up baseball. That was my game in college. And so they're going to have 2 tournaments for the SWAC teams, one in Atlanta at the end of the season and one in the beginning of the season, latter part of February here in Houston at Minute Maid Arena. Minute Maid Park. Okay? And what I want to do is, one last thing before we go, I want to emphasize, as I always do, if any of you people watching are in the vicinity of these games, Grambling playing Alabama State this Saturday, UAP playing Alcorn this Saturday, Southern playing Alabama A&M, FAMU playing TSU. We had a wonderful turnout for TSU Prairie View, 7,300 fans. Bethune-Cookman versus Prairie View, and Mississippi Valley versus Jackson State University. As I always say, the universities need your support. Please buy a ticket and attend the game and show them your support by going and cheering on your school. Okay? Let me make sure that I covered all my bases. And one more thing, if you want to be a guest on this show, I'm going to start doing a surprise guest for my fans. Go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up and let me know that you'd like to come on. Give me your information, name, telephone number. That's the same location or email address that you go to order the merchandise, the t-shirts and the hoodies. Go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Leave me your size, your telephone number, and what color you'd like to have. I'd like to thank everybody once again for watching the show. Continue to spread the word to your friends so my viewership can continue to grow. Peace out, family.